Well, and I think this is the problem is coming out of 20 years of GWOT. I think everybody thinks of war in a very specific way. And it's like, okay, you don't want to do cast, but do you want to get shot down? And like you can send the army in to do things, but are they up to date on how to communicate effectively, how to open up communications air to ground as well, and all the things that can affect that and all the things that are going to be in the way? Like our tech is going to meet other tech that's going to, I don't want to say zero each other out, but effectively, like you're going to be in a no comms environment. How do you get to a place, open up comms, and then effectively communicate out to get the things that you need to open up that airspace to help the ground, the folks on the ground and all those other things. And so, like, I don't care if they don't want to do casts, but if we're still putting butts in seats, which is what apparently they want to do, like the environment is going to be so hyper dangerous that if you don't have people solving those problems before they're over that space, they're gonna get shot down. It's going to be a bad situation.
I think the most unfortunate part of this whole thing is that all of our pipelines are the best that they've ever been right now. So we have some of the most highly qualified, highly skilled, perfectly selected people that have been through, the fucking 40 selections that they go through before they get to, like from segregated basic training to the Air Force Special Warfare candidate course to your guys' ANS to by the time they get to the end, it's like, Jesus, how many times you got all the prep in the world. So it's like, we finally have fixed the lack of training, and the second we did, and the lack of equipment, the stuff the kids are getting equipment wise, especially on our side now, I went out to the FTU and it looked like a platoon of Rangers were running around. I was like, geez, this is freaking nice. Like, you guys got everything now. They're running dual handhelds, headsets, everything. Mm-hmm. Like, man, I was lucky to get a helmet cover for a K-pot. So it's like, yeah, we're at this point where we have the greatest training and gear that we've ever had, but where do we go?
Well, I think that's the interesting question, and I think that there is a place. Like, I disagree with you that we kind of marketed ourselves out of a job. I think what we did is we have a value proposition to the sister services as to say, hey, GWOT is over, and we're gonna move into these new spaces, and we all think we know what the new spaces look like. Man, Russia, we've seen it's a paper tiger. Like, the intelligence community has told us for years and years and years, Russia's going to eat your lunch. Everybody's going to be. They're doing trench warfare with exquisite modern weapons in Ukraine as we speak. Like, the tactics, techniques, and procedures is not some 5th gen war. They're using World War I tactics, techniques, and procedures using modern weapons. That's what we're seeing out of Ukraine. So I'm a little bit more cynical as when we talk about, oh, well, everybody's going to get shot down. Nobody's going to be able to talk. Nobody's going to be able to communicate. I think that there is some sort of space there where the Air Force can specifically say, hey, there are some air-centric problems that we're really good at solving, and we have the people to do it. Now, it may take a huge pivot. And just like, after Vietnam, I can't remember what the cut downs were in Vietnam, but soft forces went down something like 70% across the board. They were like, MACV, SOG, SEALs, UDTs, all these other specialized units. They basically put them all back in the cage because they were like, listen, we're good. We don't have anything upcoming. And we had to reinvent the wheel. And unfortunately, it took Eagle Claw in 1979 and 80 to reinvigorate the push for soft. But do you feel like this time kind of mirrors that time where, yeah, there's going to be a drawdown. Yeah, there may be some cuts, but then we have to reorient and we find something new to go forward?
Well, first, I think you guys are the only ones wearing body armor in this equation, because at any point, the PJs are going to go, we're going back to ACC and RQS. See you guys later. Like, you still have a mission regardless. The three of us, we're the ones.
CSAR has always been forced.
Well, what if we could? But that's the thing is, I don't know where this goes. I mean, we all know, like, the problems that we've seen the tech world face with this over the fucking last 20 years. I mean, Jesus, they forced a digital cast program down our throat that didn't communicate with the Army's digital program, that barely communicated with Link 16. So it's like everything was rushed. I mean, honestly, let's just call that. Everything is always rushed, and it fucks up so bad. And then they make us adapt to it. And then we finally kind of get a workaround, and then somebody admits that it was a huge fuck up, and we get rid of it, and we start over again.
Well, and there's personal conflicts of interest in there too, because people happen to work for certain companies, so they're like, well, I get paid by promoting this and that kind of stuff, so there's too many. They're not for Team America. They're for I'm going to line my pockets.
Like when it got up to the star level that a ton of money was dumped into a platform that didn't work, and then what they did is they made us use it. They put out a NOTAM and a regulation that says you have to use it, so they could at least cover their own ass by saying, oh, well, look at them. They're using it overseas right now. Look how great it works. And we're down there just jamming an ice pick into our eyes. Like,
right. There's some definite limitations to it for sure.
Well, and that's what we're looking at. JADC2 is, it's so hot right now. So like joint, all domain, interconnected command and control. And some people are screwing this up between, is it a system? Is it a system of systems? Is it a program of record? And that's exactly what you're talking about. We have F-35s that can't talk to F-22s because we've stovepiped that innovation. And by the way, neither one of those aircraft can talk to the guys with the new crappy embedder that we've got because we don't want to use it. Like the only thing it's good for is frying eggs. Like, if give me a 148 gem and quit talking to me about it and put me on a freak that I can actually talk to somebody above my head. You know what I mean? So when we
when they introduced us to this DCAS platform, they were like, they pulled two of us from every squadron, and we're all sitting in this room, and they're like, they gave us this brief of the theory, and they're like, is that something you would like? And I remember raising my hand, and I was like, I don't even have enough radios to have one in my TOC right now. Like, I have to keep pulling it out of my bag, taking it to the TOC and plugging it in every day. Like, maybe we could skip this and then we just buy more 117s. Could we do that?
Right. But wouldn't that solution only feed into your very problem, which is like, hey, we're a one-trick pony. Like, we're this guy with a 117 and we've got this one radio. Like, wouldn't you need to innovate to step into that new space? Because I keep trying to get to a point where we can talk about SR, control, and TAC-P integrating into some part of the thing that like you can't take them out of, right? Like, thank goodness that I am a maroon hatted bro, but like CSAR is always going to be min force and there's going to be mass casualties that we need to do, right? Like that's a truism. It's just the nature of the business. For y'all, when we start talking about it, I'm trying to get to a point where we can be like, okay, this part of the chain, whether it's in JADC2 or ground command and control or battle force picture or some sort of exposition of Air Force forces in the Army ground environment, I'm trying to get to a place where I'm like, that is the one piece that we can't remove. I think TAC-P has a spot there. I'm just not sure where.
Yeah, but you have to like roll back to like conventional standard TAC-P force. Like now that we have the FTU and these kids are coming out as certified JTACs, okay, what does the 3rd Infantry Division, 2nd Brigade, 1st Battalion need a JTAC for? What are they going to be doing? Like, what is the conventional army going to be targeting in the next 10 years? Probably fucking nothing. Like, because these are going to be strategic level targets, like that pose a threat to our Navy, that pose a threat to our aircraft. Like, they're not leaving this up to a lieutenant colonel in charge of an infantry battalion. So it's kind of
so we should get rid of the infantry.
This goes back to, I'm just saying, what the fuck?
It's all hypersonic missiles now, dude. It's all low orbit hypersonic missiles. That's it. That's how we're doing this.
To your point, I think, like, if I'm going to put on my, whatever fucking hat you want to call it, right? I
can't say wear different hats.
Hey, you're a weapons school grad. You're smarter than all of us.
You
can tell me I'm an idiot at any point.
I'm surprised he hasn't brought it up yet.
I'm actually trying to do that without telling you you're an idiot. Okay.
By all means, please.
I didn't bring my whiteboard. My whiteboard with my multiple different colors, but that's what we're doing right now. So we're training with the Navy. The Army is frankly behind. Right. They are behind because they have been stuck in that mentality that they're in that we've done the last 20 years. And that's not just SOF, that's the Army. The Navy, though, Navy and Air Force recognize the challenges that we have in front of us and that we can't do it. We can't do it alone. The Air Force can't do it by itself. The Navy can't do it by itself. But together, at least in the first 90 days, we can do it together, but there are still limitations. So where does SOCOM forces fall into that? Specifically, Air Force Special Warfare and NSW, right? They have major game in what the Air Force and the Navy are trying to do in the Pacific. To that forward edge C2, that distributed C2, that kind of stuff. And they're doing it right now with off the shelf things that we already have. So that's what's cool about it, is that we're able to do it with what we have right now because we already have the access and placement to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but where does an E5 JTAC live now? What is he supposed to do? I mean,
well, I think that's we've got to get away from, right. So so, you know, TACP has gone to these set teams, sensing. Oh, good God, I'm supposed to know the acronym too. I always do this. I always do this when I get put on the spot, but they're called
sensing something targeting.
Yeah, sensing and effects targeting teams, right? So you're taking a step back a little bit.
Why can't an intel officer do that though?
Because they don't have the access and placement, and they don't have the training to be able to, when the shit hits the fan, to be able to escape and evade and that kind of stuff, right? They also don't know how to live out on a random island and survive.
Oh, are these guys forward?
Yes.
When you say a set team, I'm thinking that they're in a strike cell. Like
No. These are teams out in the field, the field, right, that are in place and doing stuff.
The Army?
No, this is just Air Force. This is just
don't say the U word. Don't say the U word.
I'm not.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm not.
People will get so mad at you.
No. But that's what it is, and it is. Yeah, I know, man. I'm hitting in so much. I'm stepping in so much shit right now.
Oh, this is
like, and I know
episode where you and me get shit talked for a month.
Yeah. Well, not just that. This is also where
so much. I'm not hating. I'm just asking.
Oh, dude, we get told one way or the other. We either love TACPs way too much, or we hate TACPs. It's one or the other. We never get a middle of the road.
It's never like, hey guys, that was a really measured episode. It's like all of our other friends are like, why you guys have so much TACP content? We're like, they want to come on and talk about stuff, and then the other side is yes.
Like, yeah. I got told, JT. I got told because I asked that same thing, and I forget who I was talking to about it. But I said, it was one of the trench guys. And I said, why do TACPs say yes all the time to coming on and others, don't? And he said, well, think of it like this. It's feast or famine. We've had famine for years in the TACP career field. So now somebody's showing us attention and it's like, yes. Give me more. I think
it's also like I think ST guys worry too much about what their friends might think.
That's valid.
How dare you hit the nail on the head?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's just,
no, you're absolutely right.
I don't want to go on there. People talk shit. Who cares? Like tech people are kind of like, my friends talk shit about me to my face because they respect me. It's when they talk shit about you behind your back they don't respect you.
Yeah, there you go. It's because they don't respect you as a man.